Hello and welcome back to this course. Today we are going to discuss about the for loop in this video. For loop provides more comfortable way to write loop structure. In for statement we write initialization, condition and increment decrement in one line. That is more cleaner and easy to use. A for loop is written by using the for keyword. First of all, look at its syntax. You can see I have just typed the for keyword and I have used the parentheses. Within parentheses, I type three things. The first is initialization, means from where this loop starts. And then I have put the semicolon and type the condition. And after that, I have typed the increment or decrement. That totally depends upon the logic of the program, that whether we want to increment or decrement the variable. And after that, there is body of the for loop that is going to execute if that condition is true. Until the condition is true, this block is going to execute. If the condition becomes false, then it breaks out from this loop. So in this way, for loop works. Now let's look how this loop exactly works for us. First of all, it starts from the initialization. For example, I type here int I is equal to 1. Now the loop starts from 1 and it checks the condition. For example, the condition is I is less than 10. Now 1 is less than 10, the condition is true. Now it does not increment or decrement. After checking the condition, it directly moves inside the body of the for loop. Now execute all these statements. Now after executing, it goes to the increment or decrement part. It increment or decrement the variable. For example, I want to increment, so the value of I is incremented by 1. Now the value of the I is 2. Now it does not go back to the initialization. Rather than going to initialization, it go to the condition and check the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes all the statement in the for loop. After executing all these statements, it again go back to the increment and decrement portion and increment or decrement the variable. After that, it again goes to the condition and check the condition. If the condition is true, then execute all these statements. If the condition is false, then it is going to break the loop and go outside this. So in this way, for loops work. Now look at this example. I have started a for loop, and in initialization I type int I is equal to 1. This loop starts from 1 and I put the semicolon, and after that I have given the condition I is less than equals to 10. Means this loop is going to execute 10 times. After the semicolon, I have give the increment I plus plus, and after that I have started the body of the for loop, in which I am just want to print the Java is everywhere. At first it starts with the initialization. Now at this portion, I is equal to 1 and it check the condition. Yes, 1 is less than equal to 10. It come inside the body of the loop and execute this statement. After that, it go to the increment and increment I by 1, and again it go to the condition and check the condition. Now 2 is less than equal to 10. It is again going to print Java is everywhere on this screen. In this way, it prints 10 times Java on this screen. At last, I becomes 11 and 11 is not less than equal to 10, and this loop is going to break and we get outside from this loop. Write a program to print a diamond of asterisks on the screen. Now before solving this problem, I want to introduce one more thing about the nested loops. When a loop is written within a loop is called nested loop. Look at its syntax. You can see I have typed the for loop, and within the body of the for loop I have typed another for loop. This is what we call the nested loops. You can write a while loop within a for loop and for loop within a while loop. You can also write for loop within a do while loop. You can do it in any way. So this concept is called nested loops. Now look at this example. Now the outer loop is going to execute 5 times, we know that. When the value of I is 1, it check yes 1 is less than equal to 5. It come inside the body of the loop. Now it starts the loop from j equals to 1. Now 1 is less than equal to 5 and it's print I on the screen, mean it prints 1 on the screen. Now it go back to the j plus plus and increment the value of j by 1. Now 2 is less than equal to 5. Yes, it prints again I on the screen. It means it print 1 1 2 times on the screen. Now the value of j is incremented by 1 and now it becomes 3. Now 3 is also less than equal to 5, so it prints 1 more time on the screen, so we get 1 3 times. So the inner loop print 5 ones on the screen. And after that the condition becomes false because 6 is not less than equal to 5, so it comes outside the outer loop. And now increment I with 1. And now 2 is less than equal to 5, it comes again inside the loop, and now it is going to print 2 5 times. Again it go back to the outer loop and increment I with 1. Now the value of I become 3. Now it comes inside the body of the outer for loop and prints 3 5 times on the screen. So in this way the for loops work when we write a for loop within a for loop. So now let's print our diamond of static on our screen using nested loops and for loops. So here first of all I am going to print a message system.out.println enter rows and create a object of scanner class s1 equals to new scanner and system dot in and int rows equals to s1 dot next int. Now I have taken the number of rows from the user. Now I am going to create another variable int space equals to rows minus 1. Now keep in your mind that we want to print our diamond of static on the screen. The first at very first we only have to print one static with the space. For example, user enter 5. So it is going to print 5 rows of statics. And at the top we have to only print one static. So we give 4 spaces. And at the second line we give 3 spaces. At the third line we give 2 spaces. At the fourth line we give 1 space. And in the fifth we give no space. At very first we have to give 4 spaces if user enter 5. So I take 2 more variables for my loops. I type here int j and I to run my 2 loops. I start a loop here for j equals to 1 and j is less than equal to rows and j plus plus. And in this for loop I have to start another for loop. The inner for loop is going to print the spaces on the screen. Now if the user enter 5 in the rows, and we know that at the first row we have to print the 1 static, and at the second row I have to print the 3 statics, and the third row I have to print the 5 statics. Now at very first the first static must be printed at the middle, so we have to put the spaces before that. Now if the user enter 5, so I have to print 4 spaces, and at the 5 position I have to print the static. So 5 minus 1 equals to 4. So here if row is equal to 5, then 5 minus 1 is equal to 4 in the space. So it is going to print the 4 spaces first, and then it is going to print 1 static. So let's create an inner for loop inside. For I equals to 1, I less than equals to space and I plus plus. And I have to print the spaces system.out.print space. Okay. And outside this for loop I have also to decrement the space by 1. So I type here space minus minus. So here I am going to start another for loop to print statics on the screen. So I type here for I equals to 1, I less than equals to 2 multiplied by j minus 1 and I plus plus. Now you may thought that why I have used this condition here. Now understand that at the first row we have to print the 1 static, at the second row we have to print the 3 statics, at the third row we have to print the 5 statics. So at first the value of j is 1. So 2 multiplied by 1 is 2 and 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So it prints 1 static on this screen. At the next the value of j is 2. Now 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to 4 and 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So it prints 3 statics on this screen. In this way this loop works, and that's why I have used this condition here. Now if I type here system.out.print the static, and outside this for loop I type another statement system.out.println Now I have used this statement because the first iteration is going to print first one static on the screen, and after that I have to go to the new line. So I type here system.out.println to go to the new line. Now if I run this program now and enter 5 here, you see pyramid on the screen. At first we have put 4 spaces and 1 static. At the second row we have printed 3 statics. At the third row we have printed 5 statics, and this continues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 rows. So to print our diamond, we have to just print our opposite pyramid to this. So let's do it. So I initialize my space with 1 because at first I have to print only 1 space. So I start a for loop here, int j equals to 1 and j is less than equals to rows minus 1 and j plus plus. Now I start another for loop inside this for loop to print spaces before and static. For I equals to 1, I less than equals to space I plus plus, and system.out.print space and space plus plus. At very first this space is equal to 1, so it prints 1 space on this screen. Now we want to print the static on the screen, so I type here for I equals to 1, I less than equals to 2 multiply by rows minus j minus 1 I plus plus. Now this condition will be a little typical for you, but you have to learn that. When we previously run this program, we see a pyramid on this screen. Now after that we have to invert that pyramid and we want to print our diamond. So just below that we have to print the 7 statics if user enter 5 in the rows. Let's suppose user enter 5. Now here 5 minus j. At first j is equal to 1, so 5 minus 1 is equal to 4, and 4 multiplied by 2 is equal to 8, and 8 minus 1 is equal to 7, and we print 7 statics on the screen, and that is what we want. And after that in next row the value of j is incremented by 1, and then here 5 minus 2 is equal to 3, and 3 multiplied by 2 is equal to 6, and 6 minus 1 is equal to 5, so we print 5 statics on the screen. And for the next row the value of j is equal to 3, so 5 minus 3 is equal to 2, so 2 into 2 is equal to 4, and 4 minus 1 is equal to 3, so we print 3 statics on the screen. So let's print then system.out.print static, and outside this for loop I'm going to type another statement, system.out.println, to print a new line after each iteration. So now if I run this program and enter here 5, you see a nice diamond on this screen. So in this way for loops and nested for loops work. Now let's run this program once again and type here 10, and now you see a big diamond on this screen. Run it once again and type here 20, and you see a little larger diamond on this screen. So I hope you understand how loops work and how we can print a diamond on this screen. I will highly recommend you to do some programs on printing different shapes on your screen, because printing these type of patterns definitely build up your logics. So that's it for this video. If you feel any problem while understanding the loops and about this program, then you can definitely message me or ask me a question. I will definitely help you. So I will see you in next video.